If you're interested in winning more games of Madden, head over to winmadden.com, where you can gain access to the top offenses and defenses ran by the pros at the highest level. And you can now use my code DREW20 for 20% off your yearly or monthly membership and start winning today. All right, boys, welcome back to another offensive game plan on the YouTube channel. I'm here to help you guys get better at the game. You guys have been killing it on the game plans recently. I really appreciate all the love and support you guys have shown. It's made me want to do this type of content more, so I appreciate you guys for that. And before we get into it, I just kindly ask that you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time I post a video like this, so I can help you guys get better. So I'm in the Minnesota Vikings offensive playbook, and this is going to pair well with our bunch tight end ebook that we just put out. I think that's the last video I uploaded. So this is going to pair well with that. If you want to run these two offenses together, it would not be a bad idea. You can mix and match the audibles however you like. Everything I'm showing you here will just absolutely frustrate your opponent. So I'm in the formation bunch spread nasty, and there's a reason it's nasty, okay? No pun intended. But you can change your packages in every formation, but I'm going to show you how you can take advantage of it in this game plan right here. So when you go into practice mode or when you go into a game, you're going to notice that the tight end slot package is the default package for this. You want to flick your right stick until you get to the where it just says packages, and it has your standard 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back in that spot. Before you go ahead and get to work with it. So, and then we're going to click the right stick in, and then we're going to make sure we have auto pass protection set to empty. And I know you can't see it with my face cam, but there is base, empty, half slide, full slide, all that. It's a new feature they added in the recent patch. I know I was telling you guys to go base pass protection in the last game plan, but I actually want you guys to run empty now because it better picks up stunts. It's a lot better against the stunts, and stunts is kind of meta right now, especially with the Texas 4-man and all that. So, and we're not running any play action plays in this game plan here, so it's really important that you have that empty pass protection. So, and I think that type of pass protection will slowly become meta as more people start to realize it. But as far as our audibles goes, we're going to take advantage of this running back motion here, and then you'll notice that 3 of the plays that we run are going to involve that running back motion when we send 5 receivers out. So the first one in our audibles, we're going to have orbit bunch Salem, and then we're going to go with outside zone for a run call, and then we're going to go orbit smash whip in this slot here, and then we're going to go mesh slot out in this last audible. So these should be your 4 audibles here, and the play that we're going to come out in every time is motion mesh swing. Display all the way here on the right of your screen. All right, guys, so when we first break the huddle here, you typically want to always have your bunch to the wide side of the field, but there are like some cases if you think they're in a cover 2 defense where you can run your bunch to the short side so you can take advantage of this slot fade route here. And something special about this slot fade is that if you notice when we do a hot routed slot fade, it takes a step and then it gets into his route. Well, if we reset the play here, you'll notice if you look real closely, there's no initial step before he gets into his route. So this is going to help you versus man defense too. And sadly, you can't stem this up or down with the most recent patch, so that kind of sucks. But the first route combo we're going to do is going to be our universal beater for man and zone. So we're going to streak our tight end, and we're going to post route our solo guy. Or you could put him on a crosser. Doesn't really matter. I just like the post because it's a little bit shallower and it has like a cut on it. So you're essentially just making a high-low read between the running back and the drag, between the drag and the post. And this running back auto motion that we're going to pair with all of our passing plays is going to keep their defense honest, and they're never going to know what play you're running because all the plays are going to have this running back auto motion. So if the running back auto motion's open, you of course can throw that immediately. But if they're really playing back with their defense, you can catch it and rack it and make somebody miss in the open field. But streaking the tight end and post routing the solo dude, this is like our basic setup here. And so you're really just looking over the middle between the drag and the post. If they give you the drag, throw it, and then you could because a lot of times their user isn't gonna react that fast either. So if you can hit him with this drag route over the middle until they start respecting it, then that kind of opens up your post route when they start shading down. You can just kind of pass lead it down in front of the defense. I know we threw an interception right there, but you got to think in a real game, their user is going to be one of those yellow zones. So whether they're using the right or the left guy, they're still vacating part of that area of the field. So you notice that the post route is open over the middle this time. So it's just about reading the spacing over the middle. You always want to be careful because that's where people are using in most spots. But if you have this drag route going underneath, you're really going to and if you just read those two routes, you're going to typically be safe from throwing an interception. All right, now I'm going to cover two defense, and I'm going to show you how you can take advantage of this slot fade route, and it really just keeps your opponent from running cover two. Because if your opponent runs cover two on you when you're running this offense, it's just night night. Like you're going to just scorch them deep every single time. So it's the same route setup here, and you can even leave this drag route if you want. It's just have kind of like a little meshing combo, but it's the same route setup, okay? So we're streaking the tight end, post routing the solo dude, but this time you're gonna want to look for this slot fade route against cover two, because this is gonna get over the zone, and you can just pass lead it on the sideline, possession catch it. You can throw this with the bunch to the wide side of the field if you want to. It's probably not the worst thing in the world, but typically when you're trying to beat cover two down the sideline, you want to take advantage of the space, that the isolation factor. Okay, so I'm not saying you can't take advantage of this on the with your bunch to the wide side of the field, because it can definitely happen. But you see how the safety kind of has more room to make a play on it. You want to minimize as much of that as possible. So if you're at midfield or you're on the right hash, this is going to work a lot better. So, but I mean, point still stands. This slot fade route is really, really good. It's going to scorch cover two if you just throw it like a hard pass lead at like a hard angle to the right side. You're going to get that in. You're going to get that in. Now our next setup for this play is going to be, we're going to pretty much change every route except for this running back auto motion. This is just to give him like the same look, but a different route combo. So what we're going to do is we're going to slot fade our solo guy. We're going to drag route our tight end, put our slot receiver on a crosser, and then put our outside bunch receiver on a return route. And what this is going to do is, if they're in a cover two, you can pop them down the sideline with this slot fade. So we're going to look at that first, since we're already in a cover two. So you're going to see that this slot fade gets behind the defense here on the short side of the field really quickly. And so you always want to look at that first if you feel like they're in a cover two defense. So we're going to do this setup here, slot fade the solo, drag the tight end, crossing route the slot, and then return route the backside guy. And this backside return route is actually really good. Versus cover two, it's not really so good because there's more yellows on the field, but that's the point of this route combo, is that if they're in a cover two, we know we have the sideline on the left side. And then if they're in any other type of zone defense, then we know that we're going to make a read between in between our high-low and our other three guys. Okay, so typically your first read, if you don't think they're in cover two, is going to be this tight end drag. So tight end drag is going to be, if that's your old reliable route. If you notice, every game plan we broke down on the channel so far, like that tight end drag from that slot position is always really, really good for us. So, and then you want to also look at this crossing route on the second level. So this crossing route is going to get right in the sweet spot if they're shading down, and then you can possession catch that on the sideline for a big gain. And what we also have is this backside return. So you never want to forget about this backside return, because it's going to pull all the zones apart. And the reason it's more open against other zone defenses and not against cover two is, like I was saying before, there's more yellow zones on a cover two defense. So if you know they're not in cover two, you can just look at the high-low. You can just run this high-low concept between these three guys, and then the slot fade will clear things out for this crossing route. But this return route on the backside is really, really good, guys. Next play we're going over is this orbit bunch Salem, and this is to really just take advantage of the spot route that the tight end's running, and the running back auto motion is going to occupy that flat zone on the right side, and then it'll open it up. So what we want to do is we want to put our solo guy on a slot fade, just in case they're in a cover two, right? And then we want to put our slot receiver on a crossing route like before. And then you can do whatever you want with this backside guy on the outside bunch receiver. You can leave him on his little in route, or you could put him on a slot fade. just to better prepare if they're in a cover two, you have a chance to beat them down the sideline. But you're really just trying to open up this spot route from the tight end, and you're going to notice that this spot route just sits in a nice soft spot in the zone. And against cover three and cover four, any type of zone defense, you're going to have this tight end spot route. Unless it's a cover two. So that's why we're putting the slot fades on the field on our outside guys, so that we can, so just in case it is cover two, we have a chance to beat them deep down the sideline. But when you're running this play, you're really just looking for this spot route, because the user is not going to be like, if you mix this in on like a fourth down or a third down or just any down and distance, and you're just giving your opponent something else to worry about. So again, we're going to slot fade our outside guys, and then we're going to put a crossing route on this solo dude, or on our slot receiver, and we're going to run the auto motion, and you're going to see all the deep routes run off the coverage, and then we can just throw this tight end spot route. And you can even leave this spot route from the slot receiver if you want to, just to give you another option, because it's going to force their user to be honest. So if they're not respecting that, then you can just throw that too. So that's probably honestly a better setup for you, is to just, when you call this play, just put the outside guys on slot fades to prepare in case they're in a cover two defense. And then you're just going to like read the middle of the field when they're spot dropping in the middle of the field. So because one of them, they're going to have to user one of them. And then whichever one their user doesn't go to, you just throw the other one. So, and the run play we're going over, guys, is the outside zone. And the reason it's outside zone instead of inside zone is because this is really good against double mug fronts. So we're going to run the play. Obviously, it's going to get good blocking against like a dollar or dime or anything like that. But I'm actually going to go to a double mug mid blitz look. And I'm going to show you how good this run can be versus it. So we're going to pick our play, motion mesh swing. We're going to go here to our double mug look and just call mid blitz, because people out here that they still call mid blitz. So outside zone, you really have to just not hold turbo until you get past the line of scrimmage here. That's the key to making this work. Sometimes the defensive end is going to shed. That's just how Madden is. Like, running the ball isn't really that good in general, but if you can not hold turbo until you get past the line of scrimmage, you can see the explosive play opportunity that we have here. So we're going to run it a couple more times just to show you guys that if you don't hold turbo behind the line of scrimmage, you can pretty easily get the edge here. And you see sometimes they will shed. So like, that's kind of the risk you take, but that's the reason we have this play in our audibles here. So just to keep your opponent honest. And so you just have to read the hole. And then against non-double mug fronts, like before, you can kind of like have the option to cut it back up the middle. You just kind of have to read how the defense sheds, because you see like we had a hole up the, like in between the right tackle and the right guard. So we'll just run this one more time to see if we can get an explosive play. Don't hold turbo until you pass the line of scrimmage. That's going to give you your best chance at getting some good run blocks when you run this play. See, we're in the middle of the field now. We can make people miss. The next play we're going over is orbit smash whip. Now this kind of mimics double post, so that's why I like this play. But I have like 3 setups for you guys. One of them is a cover 3 bomb, and then the other 2 are just general, coverage beaters. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go over our 2 coverage beaters before we go over our cover 3 bomb. So what we want to do is we're going to want to streak our slot guy, drag our tight end, and then we want to put our solo dude on a slot fade. And so this is just to prepare if it's a cover 2 defense, and that way we have a way to attack it. So against like general zone defense, like cover 4, cover 3, man, all that, this is going to be your setup here. So, and even if you want to go double drags, that's not a bad idea too, if you think it's man defense. So what we want to do here is we want to carry out our motion here, and then we're going to look for our underneath drags first. So if they're giving us the underneath drags, we want to throw those and just like really take advantage of them not shading down. And once we get them to shade down, this is when we want to look to our post route. So we're going to streak our slot, and we're going to put our 2 guys on drags. Okay, this is just like the double post at a bunch offset a few years ago. So, and keep in mind, when somebody's user is going to be one of the yellow zones. So like if one of the users bites down on the drag, you always have this post route over the middle. So we're going to put our guys on double drags, carry out the motion so that way everything looks the same. And then we're just going to look for our drag routes first. and if the defense is playing back, we're gonna hit our post route. But when we throw this post route, guys, we want to make sure that we pass lead down, like at straight down, and click onto the receiver and cut the ball off. And that's why it's really good to have like a really tall receiver when you're running these shallow routes over the middle, is because you can pass lead down and possession catch or aggressive catch in front of the defense and kind of like box out the defenders in a way. So even if they are using it, they're not going to be expecting you to throw a pass lead down, because a lot of times that animation will like make them jump in front of the user unless it's just like flat out right in front of you. So we're going to pass lead down. Of course, they're going to intercept it because I'm not using one of the yellows and I don't have two controllers. But trust me, that is an option that you have. So we're going to run the combo again. We're going to create a double drag concept with the streak. And then you always can still throw this motion swing route. So this motion swing route is always an option on any pass play that we run. Now our next setup is going to be out of orbit smash whip. We're going to stem down this tight end corner route all the way, and then we're going to slot fade our outside guy, and then we're going to streak our slot receiver. So we have two clear out routes here, and then we're going to put our solo dude on an in route or a return. So I like putting him on a return because it gives you more time to make your reads, and this guy's going to be open by the time you get to him. So, but if you want him to get open quicker, if you're facing like a heavy blitz or something, you could just put him on a regular in route. So, and what I'm looking for is this tight end corner here, and you'll notice that it runs a lot shallower and more horizontal than like a normal corner. So we put him on a regular corner route, stem him all the way down. You notice how he runs at like a more vertical angle. So we don't want that. So we want to leave him on his corner route that comes stock on the play. So we're going to backside this guy, streak, and slot fade this guy. And then when they're playing hard flats, you're going to have this tight end corner route open. And so if we don't get insta-shedded like we just did, we'll be able to have that for a pretty nice gain. So we're going to do this again, stem it down, slot fade, streak, backside in. So we're going to carry out the motion here, boom. And so you see this tight end gets open, and then you can rack it upfield. All right, now we're in a cover three because I want to show you guys the cover three bomb out of orbit smash whip. So this is just like your classic cover three bomb. You're not always going to have time for this, so just be aware. But we're going to put our solo receiver on a corner route, so it's going to pull the outside third on the left side. We're going to drag our tight end, and we're going to streak our slot receiver. And so we're going to look for this post route to get over the top of the defense when we're on the wide side of the field. So this is why you always want your bunch to the wide side of the field, so you can take advantage of this. And I'm actually going to double team this defensive tackle here so that we can have more time in the pocket. And you're going to notice that this is going to get over the defense, and then we could rack it for a one-play touchdown potentially. So we're going to run that one more time for you guys so that you guys can get a good solid 2 or 3 good solid reps of this. So this is our cover three bomb. So we streak this slot, drag the tight end, corner out the solo guy, and then we're going to double team the D tackle here just so that we have more time in the pocket. So we're going to practice our pocket presence, and then boom, you'll notice that we can split the defense here and score a potential one-play touchdown. All right, the last play we're going to go over before we get into red zone stuff is mesh slot out. Now, this play is not going to be ran. It's probably going to be ran the least out of all your plays, to be honest, but we're going to stem down the corner all the way. Now, this isn't as good as pre-patch, so it's not 1 yard anymore. It's like minimum of 3, but it's still really good against zone. So we're going to stem that route all the way down first. We're going to streak our slot, post route our tight end, and then we're going to block our halfback. And you could actually like table route the running back if you want. It's not like you don't have to block him, but it's nice to block him just to have extra protection. So our first read is going to be this corner route. If it can get over the hard flats, we're going to be able to pass lead it down and catch it on the sideline. But if they're not running hard flats, you have other options on this play as well. So we're going to stem the route all the way down. We're going to streak our slot, post our tight end, block our halfback. And then if in the event that that's not open, you have a high-low over the middle between your drag and your post. So if you have the drag open, you can throw the drag, and then we're going to show the post route from the tight end as well. So Again, we are streaking our slot, posting our tight end, stemming the corner all the way down, and blocking the halfback. So we have the post right over the middle by the tight end. A lot of times it'll get open on the sideline late, so you can be on the lookout for that. So as far as red zone stuff, if you have to pass, you can always run the ball. But I'm going to show you guys something really nasty that you can do with the formation packages here in a second. But this is like our 2 red zone passing plays here. So we have orbit bunch Salem. So what we're doing is we're just running our spot concept here. And then you could really just run this play stock if you want, because this backside in route along the back of the end zone here, if we want to just respot the ball a little bit closer, it can be a really good option for you as far as like running along the back of the end zone, because back of the end zone dig routes are really, really good because nobody thinks to use them. And like if they're not going to react that quickly, trust me. So what you want to do here is we're going to look for our 2 spot routes, and then you see this tight end route is going to be really available to you against like any type of cover 3, cover 4 zone. But in case that's not open, you have your sit route from your slot receiver here. So you always want to keep an eye on that too. So you're going to throw this, boom. They can't use or both of them. And what you can also do out of this very same play is you can drag your tight end and then zig route your slot. So now you have, with a running back motion, you have something occupying the flat. So you can read the zig and the tight end drag, and then with your dig route being your late read. So boom, the zig route's open, and I'll show you an example of how you can hit the dig route in the back of the end zone here. So we're going to run this play again. Only difference is we're dragging the tight end and zigging our slot receiver. So we're going to carry out the motion here. Boom. See if we can hit this in route in the back of the end zone. Boom. Just like that. Oh, and you want to high pass this too, boys. I forgot to mention that. You want to high pass this in route here. You don't want to just throw a regular pass, because you'll increase your chances of throwing an interception. Trust me. So we're going to high ball it. Boom. If we can get our 2 feet down, we'll have a touchdown there. So now I want to show you something that you can do with this formation that's really nasty. And it's not like you can't do it with other formations, but this is a really good passing formation. So we're going to go to our packages here, and we're going to go to where it says 3 tight ends. So this takes all your receivers off the field except for one, and it puts 3 tight ends in that bunch formation. So what you want to do, like if you want to go into the red zone here, so we're going to pick motion mesh swing, and let's just say they're not picking up on you coming out in 3 tight ends. So now that you have 3 tight ends on the field, you can bring up your audible screen, and then you can go to single. You can audible to single back wing tight, and this gives you like a really good run heavy formation in case you don't want to pass in the red zone here. So if you switch your packages, you could switch it up on them, and then they're never going to see it coming. So but keep in mind, you have to go to the play call screen to do this. So if you're running hurry up down the field and you get into the red zone, you're not going to be able to audible to this. So you want to make sure you have the 3 tight end package, so that it puts all 3 of your tight ends in this bunch receiver in this bunch formation, and then you can just audible to like down to like an inside zone or like a halfback stretch, or just something heavy to where you can run the ball and get an easy touchdown. All right, so now that we're at the end of the ebook here, I want to go over like a bonus formation that you can run in tandem with this. So the Vikings playbook has a bunch of good bunch formations. So they have bunch open offset that I went over as a secondary formation in the bunch tight end ebook, but a bunch tight end, bunch open offset, bunch wide, and bunch spread nasty that we just went over, they're all right next to each other. So they're all easily accessible if you want to audible between the 4. But the sister formation I'll go over in this one is bunch wide. And so it's a really smooth audible too. And so the audibles that I have are spacing, inside zone, verticals, and wide trail. And I'll briefly go over all of these plays. So we're going to always come out in motion mesh swing like we always do, right? And then I'll just come out in a cover 4 drop just to like call random defense. So what we're going to do is, if you ever want to audible over here, is 1 click to the right, and then we can audible to our spacing play. And all they do is they widen out just a little bit. And the reason I like this spacing play is if we table route the running back, you have like a high-low on the left side. But what we have here is we have like a spot concept, kind of like we did with orbit motion, or orbit, what's that play called? Orbit Bunch Salem. It's the same kind of thing, except the spot route is from our outside bunch receiver. So what we have here is when we snap this ball, he's just going to sit right there in the zone, and then you're going to have it easy, like 5-7 yards. So you always want to run this to the wide side of the field. You could also put the slot receiver on a crossing route and then streak this guy and kind of have this set up right here, but you're really trying to take advantage of this spot route. So the spot route, it actually gets even more open when you do the second setup that we did. So we're going to do the same thing. So one click to the right to audible to spacing, put the solo on a crosser, and then streak this guy. That's all you really have to do. And then you just want to read the field. Like the spot route's open, boom, it's open immediately. Then this verticals play right here is really, really good. It's a really good quick snap play. So if you want to just out route the solo dude and then streak the running back out of the backfield, you can pretty much split any zone defense. So the running back's going to be open immediately. So you could, throw it for a first down, or, that's going to be your first read. So we're going to audible to verticals, streak the running back, out route this guy. And then we also have the tight end and the crossing route here as well. So you can throw this crossing route really quick if you can throw with anticipation and make good reads like that. And then you also have this tight end seam route. And everybody knows how good 4 verts is, right? It's like one of the best plays in the game every single year. So you have this tight end seam route against, if you just pass lead it down, against cover 3 and cover 4, and typically any defense that's not cover 2. Real quickly, I'll show this versus a cover 2. So against cover 2, you're going to want to look for this guy on the deep sideline on the wheel. Roll out, he can get behind the defense there and possession catch it. It's just another way you can attack your opponent. And the final play we're going over here in this sister formation is Y trail. Now this is you're not going to call this every down, but this is a really good quick snap play. This solo receiver is on a really unique fade route on the outside, and since he's so far split out wide against a cover 2, it has a chance to get over the top. So, and then you have a stock trail concept here from the drag and the tight end. So you want to always be on the lookout for that. You can sneak that little tight end route in there from time to time. And then if you don't feel good about it, you can always just throw this this drag route here on the check down. So you can really just call this play stock if you want to, because it's just that good. So if you guys enjoyed this ebook and it helped you win more games, make sure you let me know in the comments down below, and always subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.